What is going on, guys? Coach Abby here to bring you some tips and tricks on your jiu-jitsu and ultimately help you become better 1% every day. Today we're going to be talking about how consistent you need to be or how often you should be training for you to retain information and actually do it when you're rolling or when you are grappling with other people. If you are brand new, this is something that everyone has thought about. Number one, because you are completely lost and you're trying to figure out what is going on and how to avoid or attack. Number two, it's frustrating because you start to notice that things happen again and again and you're not sure how to stop it. And then the third thing is you're wondering if you are even progressing or not, and then you get frustrated because you can't tell. That's something that happened with me for a long time. Number one, because I'm competitive, and number two, it just is a sport that needs repetition and time. And so if you're impatient like myself, it can feel frustrating and a little bit defeating. And so I'm gonna try to help you feel a little more at ease with knowing what to expect. So how should you be training, or what should you be doing to help you retain information, which you might have seen some of my videos before. I love to say, process it out loud, write it down. I have a whole class or course that I actually did. You can see it, it's on my Instagram, the link, and then I can also attach it down below to help you with your beginning months of jiu-jitsu, because there's a lot to take in. Anywhere from drills to eating to preparing for a tournament if it's something you want to do. But right now, retaining and executing is really important, and you can feel lost and sometimes defeated, like I said, if you're seeing other people advance and you're not sure if you're even getting anywhere. And so the number one thing I'll say is you want to be very consistent with putting in time on the mat to roll. So don't just go to open mat, because you need some kind of a drawing board to figure out what it is that you're learning, but you're also going to need that time in open mat or in an open roll time to try to figure out how to do it in a live rolling session. And so one thing that I did that I think was really helpful in the beginning was I almost didn't give myself an out or a choice to just get off the mat after a class. So I would go to class 5 to 6 days a week at the time, because I was single and in college and working, so I had the time. But more than anything is I would put in 3 to 5 rolls every single time I was there, and that was really helpful. So I would say for you, something that's realistic is a minimum of 3 days, which you've heard me say over and over again, but you need not just the consistency, but the ability to execute and practice that through live rolling. So some people will only do live rolling, they don't really want to go to class. Some people are fine going to class because they're easing into it, but the first roll is the hardest roll. Like, it's more mental than anything, and that's why usually when I'm with somebody, like a female in the very beginning, and she's really hesitant to roll with me or a male, I will usually pick out a male that I trust, or if it's myself, I'll just say, let's roll. Because the first one is the hardest. Now, knowing where you are and how to progress, that's gonna come with giving yourself time to process through live rolling, but also through feedback with people that you know, like, and trust. People that want the best for you. So one example is when I would roll with people that I normally would see every day or every week, I would say, is there something you see I consistently do that I could avoid? Or if it was something that I caught myself consistently doing, I would say, what am I doing that keeps getting me caught in this? What am I doing wrong? What am I not seeing? And honestly, I still do that to this day, because we're creatures of habit, and sometimes if we start something that's not the best habit, it will kind of keep coming into our game. And so you want to iron out those areas as quickly as possible within the first 2 to 3 years. We're always learning in this game, but there are little things that are really helpful to know in the beginning, and not everyone will tell you. So it's good to ask good questions with people that have been around, that know the game, that are consistent, and honestly, they live it out. As in, they're going to class. They're also rolling consistently. Maybe they're doing tournaments. You don't always have to do tournaments, but it's helpful. That means they have more bodies that they've rolled with to know and understand their skill even better. So I would say, yes, the consistency of going to class, putting in the time to roll with different people and then asking for feedback or asking good questions and saying, what do I need to do? And one example that I'll give you, it's so silly, but it's true, just to show you that I'm still learning, was I kept getting swept in the same sweep by the same person. And the first time I usually am like, okay, that's frustrating. The second time I'm like, this should not have happened again. What's going on? So it happened again in a matter of, I think, 2 rolls back to back with this person. And they're a brown belt, so they're above me. And I was frustrated and I said, what am I doing wrong that I keep getting swept? And it was the silliest thing. I just didn't have my hips in the right place and I didn't have a strong underhook, which is normal. Like I should know that. But in that moment, I was not doing it because I just wasn't focused on it. So sometimes things like that just happen and you have to be willing and okay to change things up and have somebody come in and maybe see it from a different light. Be careful who you let in to give you advice and facts, but for that person in particular, I know them, I've seen them, I know what work they put in, I know how long they've trained, and it was helpful. So it was really helpful to have that advice and that viewpoint because I couldn't see it. And so you're only gonna get better when you're able to learn and listen and show up on a consistent basis with class and roles, not either or, but both. So I hope that's helpful. That's one thing that I, once again, wish I knew a little bit more specifically to look for when I was in the very beginning of my training. I did all the roles and all the class because I had strong accountability, number one, but also I had nothing better to do and I needed an out from seasonal depression from cold weather in New York. And I was paying a good amount of money to train, not having a lot. And so I got every chance I could to train. But if you are a little more comfortable financially or you have other things going on where it's not as important to you, you can expect to speed up your progress if you're not being consistent, you're not rolling, or you're not asking good questions, because that will really help you speed up understanding the game, the skills, and what your body is capable of just because of how the sport goes. So like I said, I wish I knew it, and I do now, and I'm wanting to share that. So what is one thing that you what is one thing that you wish you knew? Put it down in the comments, to speed your progress up, to speed up your ability to learn jiu-jitsu. For me, I told you those top 3 were game changers, and honestly, those are some things that you can continue to carry with you up until your black belts and even outside of jiu-jitsu. So like I said, let me know down below. Thanks for your support, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.